Hello instructors, so in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to use the scheduler feature on Learning, which is really helpful when you want to schedule several tutoring sessions or have an agenda of the different tutoring sessions with the different students of your class. Okay, so right now I am showing you one of my classes on Learning, and I created a topic that's called scheduler for instructor use, just so that I can make the restriction for only me to see this and not my current students. Okay, but this activity, that's an activity that you can use in every single week on your class. Okay, so if you want to have the tutoring hours or the tutoring meetings for every single week, then you can create one scheduler for each class, right? If you want to have the tutorings for the whole term, sorry, for each week, but if you want to have the tutoring for the whole term, then you can go ahead and create one scheduler activity and then put it at the very top where the announcements are, so that all of the weeks are within that scheduler. So right now I'm just going to do it over here. Okay, so I'm going to create an activity resource, and the scheduler is on the last column in the third row. So if you go ahead and click it, it's going to give you take you to the default information that you have to enter in here. Okay, so the name, I'm just going to do this, I'm just going to call this tutoring sessions for algebra 110 or whatever the class is. Okay, that you're giving tutoring. You can give a little bit of a brief, and I'm just going to say this is going to help us keep organized in the tutoring session, or any description that you want. On the role name of the teacher, I'm just going to say, you can say teacher, or you can say instructor, right? That's fine. That's just going to be the label in there, or speaker. You can also do that. So it's going to help you, if you have several activities, if you have a lecturer, right? If you're talking about lectures that you're going to give instead of tutoring, right? Or you can say instructor. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so instructor mode, it can be several students in one session, or you can just have individual sessions. So make sure to change this number to how many students you want to have maximum in each of those tutoring sessions. Okay, so I'm just going to select one in here. Okay, guard time. This is really important. I like to set this up to 60 minutes. So guard time is the time before the meeting that is going to allow students to cancel. Okay, so 60 minutes before the meeting, students can cancel this. It's going to be perfectly fine. But if it's after, 59 minutes before the meeting, then they're not going to be allowed to cancel anymore. Okay, you can set this to 10 minutes, right? You can set that to 5 minutes. But if you set that to 5 minutes, students might cancel 5 minutes before the meeting. Okay, so I like to set this to 1 hour before the meeting, and you can disable this if you want, right, or enable it. That's perfectly fine. So these are just defaults. Later on, you can go ahead and change those specific numbers for the activity. Okay. So default slot duration is if you have 4 slots. If you have one tutoring hour, you can have 4 slots, and they have to be 15 minutes each, right? You just have to have 2 slots, and you do 30 minutes in an hour. Okay. So if you just want to have one slot, then you say that slot has to have a duration of 60 minutes, so they can only schedule for one slot in there. Okay. So I'm going to set this up to 15 minutes because I usually like to have 4 students per hour, and I don't think they need more than 15 minutes. Okay. If one student needs more than 15 minutes, and you want to take this in consideration, then you can go ahead and create a larger slot. Okay. So notifications, I want to turn this into yes, so that you get notified if they cancel, and they get notified if you cancel, or if something happens, and you guys are going to get notifications on SU. Okay. So you can also set a grade. So set this activity to include a grade, right? So if they schedule tutoring with you, then you can get some extra points. You can account this for learning activities or quizzes or anything that you write in here. Okay. So just go ahead and do point, and then select the category that you want this to be included, if you want to. Okay, I usually don't want to do this. I just want to have this as a tutoring scheduler, of course. Okay, so I'm going to click Save and Display. Okay, and this is what it's going to look like at the beginning. Of course, because I have this activity restricted for all my students right now, for the purpose of this video, then no students are showing in here, right? but usually all of the students that are enrolled are going to be showing in here. Okay, and that means that they can add slots, or not add slots, sorry. They can register to any of the slots that you have added for Turing. Okay, so now I'm still on instructor mode. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click add slots. They are not allowed to add slots. Okay, so this is because I am an instructor, so I'm going to click here. You have two options. You can add a single slot. So if a student says, can we have a 45-minute Turing hour or Turing time, then you can go ahead and add one single shot. Okay, if you want to add all of those repeated, you know, I'm going to have Turing on Wednesday from 11 to 12, and I want those to be 15-minute slots, then you can go ahead and do add repeated slots. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do. So let's say the term starts on the 22nd of February. Okay, so that's going to be the first day that I want my Turing to be available. I'm going to select 22nd. And I want this to repeat for the 6 weeks of the term. So that's the first week, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. The sixth Wednesday is going to be March 29th. So I want to say March 29th. Okay, so that means that you're going to repeat this Turing for the whole term. Okay, now I just want to do Wednesdays. Okay, so I'm not going to select Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday. If you want to have several different days, then you can go ahead and select that. Okay, my Turing hours on Wednesday are from 12 to 2. So I'm going to select this 12 to 2 or 12 to 14. Okay, that's my availability time. Okay, again, this is going to be in slots and 15 minutes each. If you want to have a break between slots, like have some free time that people are not going to be able to schedule, then you can go ahead and denote it here. Of course, if I do 5 minutes, then I'm going to have less slots per hour in my Turing. Okay, if I do 10 minutes, 15, so on and so forth. Okay, so maybe if you want to designate, you know, the whole day for Turing because you don't have any other class, then you can set up the break slots to, you know, maybe have 1 hour in between slots. If you just want to, you know, go have lunch or something, go ahead and do that. Okay, this is the students, the maximum of students per slot. So you want to call this a scheduler, let's say Turing for topic 1 of the first week, right? Then you can have this, maybe 5 students are going to come to talk about topic 1 in there. So you can change this number. Okay, location, I'm just going to do the library, the hundreds building, okay, or Teams. If you do Teams, make sure to include the link for Teams on the description of this activity. Okay. Now, if there's several instructors in the class, then you can go ahead and select who's the instructor that's creating these slots. Okay. So let's say there's 2 instructors that are sharing, are co-teaching this class. Each of them can create their own Turing slots. Okay. And then the student is going to be able to select which instructor he wants to go to. Okay. So if later on this scheduler feature goes department-wide, then all of us instructors can be enrolled into this one course that has this scheduler. And then all of the current enrolled students can be enrolled into that course as well. So we instructors can go ahead and upload our Turing hours here, and then students can go ahead and check different instructors to select the Turing. Okay, but for now, since this is just for a specific class, I'm pretty sure you're going to be the only instructor available in there. Okay, so it's for you and for your students. Okay, I'm going to say display from now, as if as soon as you create the scheduler, all of the times are going to be showing. Okay, so if you click save changes, then all of the slots are going to be created. So for the first Wednesday, that's from 12 to 12:15, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's the location. Over here where it says students is any student that has accepted those Turings or that has registered for those time slots is going to show in there. Okay, and of course it's the first Wednesday, second Wednesday, third Wednesday, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let me go ahead and go to, this is instructor view. So I'm going to change myself to student view, see what is it that the student is looking at. Okay, so when they open the activity, this is what they're going to see. Okay, the date, the start and end of the tutoring session, the location, okay, and the instructor. Over here, of course, I'm going to be the only instructor because I'm the only instructor in this class. Okay, so if they want to book a slot, they can go ahead and do so. So let's say this particular student, which is going to have the same name as me, right? But I'm the student right now. I want to do Turing Wednesday, March the 1st, 12 to 12:15. So I select the book slot, and if I click that, this is going to be the information, right? So this is my Turing, I set it up to only let students select one tutoring slot, because if you let them select a lot of tutoring slots, they're just going to select a bunch of them, and they may or may not go to all of those tutoring sessions. Okay, so what I tell my students is, when they approach to me and say, hey, Mr. Castillo, can we please have tutoring for, Wednesdays 12 to 1 for the rest of the term, every single Wednesday, can you please schedule me or separate that time for me? So what I tell them is, we'll go ahead and meet the first day, and then from there we'll talk about the next days. Okay, because then they just want to schedule everything and they're not going to go to every single tutoring session. So I just set it up for them to schedule one, and once this is over, once they're over this slot, then they can go ahead and schedule the second one. Okay, so this is what a student is going to be seeing. Okay, I'm going to go back to my instructor view, and this is because me as a student, I already registered to this, right? So I want to see what the instructor is going to see. So go back to my normal role. Let's see how this looks like, or how it looks like when a student has scheduled a tutoring session, right? So if I scroll all the way down, I'm going to see that this is, Efrain Castillo, this is the student that enrolled into this specific time. Okay, so I know I have to be either at the library, of course this is going to be specific. If you want to do library, then you do a set of booking for the library, and if you want to do teams, then you could do a set of bookings for teams. Okay, so let's say that this student scheduled for the library, so I'm going to be at the library at that specific time. Okay, you as an instructor, you can revoke appointments if you click this yellow icon over here, and that means you're just going to kill the appointment. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click this, and the student is going to be revoked from that appointment. Then that appointment is going to be available for someone else to take. Okay, so this is pretty much how to use the scheduler feature on SU Learning. If you have any questions or you want me to go over some specifics, just go ahead and let me know. Email is ecastillo@southwestuniversity.edu.